Welcome to the doghouse. Hoping y'all having a great day and hope you have a wonderful night. This is about people trying to stifle your free speech. People do this all over this country. They want to stop you from speaking because they don't believe you have the right to speak freely. They do, you don't. And there's a lot of people out there like that do that. They are willing to give up your rights, not their rights, but their rights to do what they want. We have gotten into a society that my speech is okay, yours is not. And we keep going over that again. They will say we have the free speech by the First Amendment, which is true, but you don't have that same right. I will dictate to you what free speech means. You have to listen to me what free speech means. We cannot in any way do anything without people's permission on what they think free speech is, even though they're distorting it for their own use. People's free speech in this country has been destroyed in more than one way. We had people fight for this country for we would have free speech. But for whatever reason, we are willing to give up our free speech because it might offend somebody. You know what? Free speech is free speech. If you go out there and say something that offends me, you're saying it, it's free speech. If I go out there and say something about you, that is free speech. As long as I am not defaming you in any way, that don't mean a meme or something like that. If you're out there and I tell you, and this is not free speech, I can prove that you did this. No, there's no proof, but I can prove it. And I'm going to get everybody else to back me. And it turns out as a false statement. That is not free speech. But if you have your opinion on something and express it, that is free speech. Nobody should come in here on any platform out there and tell you, your free speech has to be what they tell you it is. If you do not go out there and say, yes, I agree with your free speech, so I'll keep my mouth shut, and that way nobody will know the difference what free speech really is. So many people out there do that. They think they have the right for free speech. If you open your mouth, you're in the wrong. Yeah, you're in the wrong. They're not. Even though it don't matter that it's the same thing. There is rules for them and rules for you, and you better follow their rules. If their rule says you don't have free speech, that means you don't got free speech in their eyes. We have become a society where free speech is put on the back burner for personal gains. That's like a guy on here last night, supposedly. He gets on there and was criticizing other people. He said anybody commenting on his what he said, he would sue them. Well, guess what? This person has decided he's the one with free speech because he's better than everybody else. Is he? No. Or her? No. That that's just a narcissist speaking out. A narcissist does believe he's above everybody else. The laws don't apply to him, and when you question it, you're picking on him. Laws don't, the First Amendment only applies to him or her and no one else. Our country didn't go and fight for everything just to have somebody turn around and say they're the only ones right with free speech. You don't have no rights for free speech unless I grant them to you. And a person on here really thinks that. He can say or she can say whatever they want. But if you don't get their permission, you cannot be involved in free speech. And I work with a couple of guys, and even one of my neighbors is pretty much that way. They, especially him, all the free speech in the world comes out of his mouth. Somebody don't like something he does or says, then he virtually does threaten to sue or threaten to complain or whatever, because he's the only one with the right for free speech. You have no rights. You should you shouldn't even question this guy or lady, either one of them. You do not have them rights. Only they have them rights. And that's a sad situation when you put yourself in there, because this country was based up on a lot of things, and one of them was a freedom to speech. You can't holler fire in a movie theater, but that's a little different. That ain't free speech. That's causing problems. Free speech, whether I like it or whether you like it or not, can be said. Whether the person gets criticized for what he said, too bad. That's still free speech. Our mind has gotten so bad, and we have put ourselves in the situation where we can only say free speech if it applies to somebody else, and I'll cower down. And we do. As a society, we cower down a whole lot, to not start a problem. We're willing to give up our free speech, the First Amendment. That's okay to a lot of people. You will cower down because you don't want the conflict. Guess what? If our soldiers, when this country was formed, and even today, if they cowered down to conflict, we would not have freedoms. Not freedom of speech, not Second Amendment, none of them. They would all be gone because we cowered down. When we cower down, we're giving up so much of our freedoms to somebody that cares less about you or anybody around them, because all they want is what they want, and what you want is crap, and they think you're the worst person in the world in the end. Yeah, they might think you're their buddies, but once you disagree with them, and this goes anywhere, disagree with them, then you are the enemy. It don't matter about free speech. You did not have the right to say that about a certain person, because that's not free speech then. Free speech is what he or she tells you to say. Otherwise, it's not free speech in their idea. Well, they're wrong, obviously, and we will push forward regardless. Free speech is just part of our Constitution and should be an obligation to all to foresee it out. Now, you get people arguing about the Second Amendment, but the Second Amendment is there for a reason. You don't have to like it. You don't have to go out and buy a gun. You don't have to do any of that. By the way, I was raised around guns all my life. I currently don't own none, don't plan on it. But that is my choice. And it goes back, our Constitution give us choices to make. You don't have the right to tell me whether or not to have a gun. It's none of your business if I have a gun in my home. I don't like laws that prohibit that. Well, even though there's bad things that happen, but it's still our right in this country to have a gun. It's our right in this country to have free speech. They both go hand in hand. They really do. I mean, there's people that'll lie about things. Hello. They will go out and lie just to divert things to their way of thinking. Like I said, a certain person thinks they can say stuff, but you cannot, or they'll sue you, or they're going to defame you, or they're going to dox you, or whatever. So they have an upper hand on you because they hate you, they hate themselves. A narcissist and a person that thinks they're the only ones that have free speech, they are hating themselves because they don't know how to handle things. We all do stupid things, even with the First and Second Amendment, but it's there for us. It's not there for certain people. We have every right in this world to step forward and say what we need to say to others if we're not technically defaming them. And yes, there is people that go out there and criticize and want to take the whole world down with them because they just don't like anything. Hope you're having a great day, Carol. It's just unbelievable the situations we put ourselves in. And like I said, I grew up around guns and the Second Amendment. They do go hand in hand, First and Second Amendment, by the way. I just don't have any now. Grew up around them. If I wanted one, I'd go get one. I just don't want any. My choice, not my neighbor's choice, not the government's choice. Oh, I'm staying warm. It's 27 here right now. Supposed to get in the teens tonight. We'll see. So, yeah, guys, I'm still up for adoption, by the way. So, anybody who wants to adopt me where they're warm, let me know. But when we give up our freedoms, we give up so much. And people don't realize that when you're want to give up your freedoms, you're wanting to sacrifice your family's well-being too. That goes hand in hand too. You may not think that, but it really does. Oh, for you people out in Ohio, I was doing some research or looking up some crazy laws that still exist. In Ohio, you cannot go whale fishing on Sunday. I don't know how you guys got whales there, but evidently you do. But, it's just interesting. People's concept, people's concepts has really, really changed in our lives. Brain wars, whatever you want to say it, mainstream media has made First and Second Amendment a bad thing. And they really have. And this isn't a conservative or liberal issue. Just look at what's out there. And that's what they've done. Their opinion means more than your opinion. You have no First Amendment rights. They do. Certain people we know, same way. They got the rights, you don't. Well, I still haven't got no offers to be adopted. Nobody loves me. This comes from the guy that used to go out and play in the snow that was a foot or so deep. Now I hate it. When we grow up, some of you that are older, we learned the Constitution and the whole bit. We had a history teacher when I went to school. He had gone back over the years from all the battle sites back east and visiting all that he could. Some were not even available even in the 70s. But he knew exactly where, when, and how things happened. And he would explain things like it happened. Very informative. And he went over and over how the Constitution was made and why these amendments were there and the whole bit. It was very, very interesting. You'll never see another teacher do the same as he did. He had his own political views, but that was fine. Oh, good, Kimberly. The tax guy might like me a little bit this year. I won't owe a lot of taxes because I'm retired, but he'll like every penny I can give him. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I haven't asked a certain person that's on YouTube if that was okay to say something like that. I better get with him and make sure. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when somebody said this person had said that what he said, if he heard it anywhere else, he would sue them. That's just a bunch of bogus person that wants to make money on YouTube by content, not by reality. And a couple of people on here don't live in reality. If you told this person that you're for the First Amendment, he would probably tell you, yes, it's there, but you don't have the right to speak unless I tell you what to say. And he does that with his minions. They're so scared of him, that's, but if they just, the idea though, going back to the First Amendment, can you imagine without that First Amendment when we become a country, how bad that would have been for us if we said we can't speak and we can't have the Second Amendment with the rifles and all that stuff? Because I guess what we'd have done was stick our finger up and go bang, bang, and we'd have to run around with tapes on our mouths so we didn't violate any laws because the First Amendment didn't exist. And yeah, I mean, people take it to the extreme. Don't get me wrong, that they shouldn't. First Amendment auditors usually take the First Amendment to the extreme and add, which makes them look really bad in the end. They don't see it, but everybody else sees it. But once again, they're out there, actually, the auditors, First Amendment auditors, a lot of them are out there for content, just like another creator is. They want that dollar sign in their pockets. Well, not the sign, they want the dollars in their pockets. And the more dollars they get, the more stupid they get at times. And this other guy, as bad as he's getting, the one some of you know on here, as bad as he's getting, he's fighting to survive now. He knows people not believe in a lot of what he says. So whether he has to tell you about the First Amendment, what he can do and what you can't do or whatever, he is going to fight tooth and nail because, he can't be wrong. He's got to be right. Maybe to a point we all do that, but not to the extreme. As a kid, like I said, First and Second Amendment to me run into each other. When we was going to school, we had that long bus ride. I've seen the bus driver take his gun with him on the bus and see because of a coyote or something that was seen, shoot the coyote, put it on the bus, take it into Arco, and on his way back, he'd take it home. Nobody questioned it. Nobody cared. People would leave their guns and, yeah, well, okay, Hicktown, whatever. But they'd have their rifles, shotguns in back of their pickups on the gun rack. Never even locked their vehicles. Some of them did, but a lot of them didn't. That's because they was expressing their First Amendment. Now I understand, nowadays why you couldn't or shouldn't do that. Even if you still could, It would make no sense to do that now. Sometimes that's the key right there. Just because you can, don't mean you should. Because sometimes you can get yourself in trouble when you do the can, I can, and do it, even though you shouldn't do it. So many things out there are not illegal, but very much unethical. And people on here, and I'm not criticizing YouTube, but just people all general that get on podcasting and just make comments are so mean for the most part. And they don't even care about the Constitution. They don't care about the amendments. They care what they can get out of everybody else. And there's a lot of channels on here like that. And I don't care if you got 500 viewers or hundreds and thousands or a million viewers. That don't change. When we go forward in life, we still got to have the Constitution. I'm sorry, that First Amendment is obviously a reason why it's the First Amendment. Our grandkids, our kids, our friends' kids, or whatever have to realize and understand what the real meaning of the Constitution is. It has nothing to do with a political view, it has to do with the Constitution. The Constitution comes before any political view or should. But I know on both sides, you give them money, they'll hate anything because they got the money. Kind of same way on here with some of the followers on here is of a couple of people. They want the views, so they'll criticize. But don't criticize them. They're doing their First Amendment right and criticizing you. You don't have that same right if you criticize them. No, none of them's got on my case about it. Not much. Just explaining my opinion on the First and Second Amendment and trying to figure out how I can buy a piece of ground in Otter Creek, Florida. I want to start gator golf. But, you take First and Second Amendment away, and like I said, them are the two most important to me. The others are very important, but there's a reason why they're one and two on the amendments. And like I said, I went to school with a teacher that explained all that. He even had, back then they were slides. It's different now, and he explained different fields at different battles, and he would even explain why they took place. Now, he was never paid to go do all this stuff. Obviously, as a teacher, that wouldn't happen. But he felt it in his heart. He wanted to know, and he wanted his students to know the real meaning of the Constitution and the amendments. And I was talking, John, before you got on here about a person last night saying if somebody said something about what he said, he'd sue him or whatever. So he kind of thinks he has the First Amendment rights and nobody else does. Kind of interesting. It's so, I wasn't even going to get on here, but I decided, that kind of bothers me. Somebody willing to sacrifice the Constitution. Oh, well, I hope you get some whales. It ain't Sunday, so you can. I never figured out why they put that in. It's a law for you guys that just got in here. There's stupid laws on books. There's a law in Ohio that you cannot go whale fishing on Sunday. And nobody can tell me why the whales exist in Ohio and how they got there. And I got a couple of, while we're on that, I got some other things. I wrote some down. I'm just looking here. Oh, in Georgia, it's illegal to stick your ice cream cone in your back pocket. I wonder how much money that guy got to put that legislation up on the ballot. And in California, you're not to. It is illegal for you women to go out in a house coat and drive. That is illegal in California. So you guys better be watching it. That coat police is going to get you so bad. I shouldn't laugh too much. In Idaho, where I'm at, if you ride a merry-go-round on Sunday, it is illegal. So I don't know how many other states is that way. And in Florida, here's a good one. I like this one. In Florida, if you were unmarried, you cannot parachute on Sunday. So, you guys, any of you unmarried women out there from Florida, you better watch it. You can't be parachuting on Sunday. Oh, and in Idaho, cannibalism is illegal. I like some of this stuff, other than when I first got on here. Some of this is just outrageous, some of these laws. In New York, if you throw a ball at somebody's head for the fun, it is illegal. The key word is for fun, it's illegal. I guess if you're mad at them, then it would be it would be legal. Yes, I do. Because I got laughing the other day, and I can remember, like, where these stupid laws come, or what the stupid laws are. I just can't remember what state did what. Here's a good one. And as an Idahoan, and we didn't really mean this to Montana, but we had this saying for years and years, even to this day. If if you people are men from Montana are men, and sheep are scared. Well, then I got to looking on there, and there is a law in the book that says you cannot have a sheep in your cab unless there is a escort. Huh. I thought we was just making up fun, but according to that, it may not be what we thought. A sheep in the cab. Let me see what it really said. It did say that, but can you believe that? You have to have a escort. Well, I don't know about the one in Florida singing on the beach. Just think, a certain person out there could be in a pair of Speedos singing on the beach. No, everybody. I know everybody would leave the beach if that happened. Oh, not an escort. It's a chaperone. In Montana, you can't have a sheep in your cab unless there's a chaperone. Does it make you wonder about men and sheep? Just joking, but we always used to tell that joke. I never knew there was such a law. Oh, yeah, I like that shirt. Unfortunately, it's getting holes in the bottom. I gotta go find another one. I love these types of shirts. I used to have another one that wore out. It had a for uh, St. Patrick's Day. It had a pug in a four-leaf clover. I gotta find another one of them too. I love that one too. Yeah, I wear all kinds of stuff with prints on the front. I get asked every now and again, "Why you wear all them?" I want to. Pretty much what the answer is. I love animals, especially. Obviously, you can see that on here how much I love animals. I think they're better than people a lot of times. Big animals, small ones. We got a little terrier type dog and a coon hound. Two different sizes, go and go all day, and at night they're out. Not outside, they're sleeping real hard. And the coon hound, he'll give you sad eyes if he wants food or whatever, and lay his jaw on your arm and just stare at you. I think and it was, we adopted it. The foster parents, when it was real young, had a bunch of kids, and I think the dog got so it'd go up to the kids and do that, and they'd give it food. That it's funny what life itself. We all got to have fun and joke around and have a lot of fun. If we don't, we're in a sad shape in our lives, and none of us need that. We do go there, but we have to fight sometimes to come out ahead, and most of the people do, but we can't give up the fight. You have to fight for people that need help because we all need help at sometimes. Anybody that says they've never needed help for something or another isn't really telling the truth. And it don't have to be dollar money. Sometimes it does help, but it don't have to be dollars. It just has to be a decent human being being a decent human being to somebody else. Yeah. Thanks, Carol. So if I buy that ground in Otter Creek, will you be the manager of my uh, Gator golf course? Somebody's got to do it. And I don't want to be around the Gators, so somebody's got to step up and be my manager. So if you see people on here, or people say, "Well, maybe I'll buy that 70 acres," tell them no, it's already spoken for. Well, I got to get off here and do a couple of things and cause trouble with my wife. But I thank all of you for coming on here. Hope I give you all a laugh. Thanks a lot, everybody. Peace. May love be with you.